Hello, welcome to another episode of Mega Manga Monday. Today we are talking about One Piece, chapter 1050. It's called Honor. And I am Jason Hahn. Welcome to the Mega Manga Mondays podcast. I am a writer for Screen Rant. I happen to love writing video game related news and previews and such. And I'm also a huge manga fan, so I decided to start up the Mega Manga Mondays podcast, where me and some good buddies can talk about some of the mangas we love. And One Piece is on top of the list there. Definitely one of the top mangas going on right now, and I got a couple buddies who are also huge One Piece fans here to talk. Francesco, would you like to introduce yourself, man?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Francesco. I'm also a writer. Sorry, for Screen Rant for the comics section, which also just got Twitter account. So go follow Screen Rant Comics, by the way. And I also love One Piece, and I'm really happy that we can discuss this amazing new chapter together.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just it. I think I said in a previous discussion, I got caught up to the manga a couple of years ago, so Wano was still going on. So this is kind of my first big win, like at the end of a series. So incredibly exciting. But how about you, Ben? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, especially after having read this chapter.
Yeah.
I'm Ben. I'm also a comics writer at Screen Rant. I write about mainly manga and also DC and Marvel comics. And One Piece is my favorite manga of all time. So I'm excited to dive into this chapter because it was a pretty big one.
Yeah, I've Ben's been in a lot of previous discussions, and he's always got some pretty interesting recommendations. He reads a lot of different mangas, so when he says One Piece is his favorite, those are some big words.
Yeah.
But this chapter, I think, helped solidify that for him because this was a huge chapter. This was, I mean, the last couple chapters have felt like years of storytelling have been leading up to these moments, and this was kind of the final. It feels like we have more to say on that, but it feels like this is really the end. I mean, we got the official winner of the fight between Kaido and Luffy. We got the proclamation that Luffy won. Last discussion we had Kaido getting jetted into Wano's crust and. I don't think he's coming back, guys. We kind of showed him fading into some lava. We didn't get the Terminator 2 style, his thumbs up. Yeah, we haven't seen that yet. So I'm still holding out for that frame, but we'll see. Yeah, there's just so much to talk about in this chapter. I'll let you guys kind of go off on some of the stuff that really stood out for you first, though.
Yeah, I think the major thing is actually, which is sad because it's taking away from how good and sort of rewarding this ending was. Yes, I obviously really liked it, but it feels like the majority of the fandom is debating about whether this is actually the end of Kaido and Big Bam or not, which is quite silly, I have to say. So first of all, it's the end. And some fellow writers actually wrote articles saying, no, they are coming back and all of that. I respect that opinion, but I don't think that's the case because of the way that this chapter was structured, where you got all the falling into the lava and then the whole little drawing on how the seawater is coming into this underground lava lake, and then the cold water and the lava react, and there's this big explosion, right? And then when the explosion happens, that's where Oda put the tag winner of the fight, Luffy. So the fact that he decided to put the tag there and go through all this pain and waste so many panels on this whole lava explosion thing, it means that it's over, because the message here is that it wasn't Luffy who beat Kaido, actually was Wano itself.
Oh, wow.
Right?
the actual landmass itself.
Yeah, it's a metaphor. It's the way it was supposed to be, because yeah, we said this many times. Like, the amount of pain and suffering that Kaido inflicted on Wano was so much that it wouldn't feel right if some outsider just came in and oh, okay, I saved you guys, I beat the bad guy. Doing it this way is much more rewarding, and also it's the same way, sort of, that Oden died in the hot boiling.
Yeah.
So there is all these things, but then the people are just complaining and saying, "Oh, but it's impossible because the emperors are too strong. They shouldn't be beaten this way. Shouldn't be beaten that way." And so a lot of complaints about that, and they're coming back, but it feels. I mean, it doesn't feel great, but on the other hand, it's also a statement of how much Oda was able to build these two villains, so that now that they're gone, people are saying, "Oh no, it's impossible."
Yeah.
And also it's interesting because it calls back to something that Oda said, I think, 2 years ago, when in an interview he said, "Oh, when I introduced Kaido, I made him so strong that it was impossible for Luffy to beat him, and he said it wouldn't feel right for Luffy to just beat him with a punch." So fans were going. So over the past weeks, fans were going crazy over these things, right? Because it's impossible that Kaido was defeated by a punch, even if it was an island-sized punch, because Oda said that, and they were right.
Yeah.
It wasn't defeated by a punch; it was defeated by a lava explosion, which I think it's just yeah.
Oh boy, me and Ben like to comment on Jujutsu Kaisen's author being quite the troll. He likes to set up something and get people really excited that something's about to happen, and then replaces it with something else that is also exciting, but he doesn't end up doing that. Oda is like trolling to the level of like 4D chess, man. He played to that years ago.
I have to say, there is one theory that says that it's actually Zoro that will kill Kaido, and it's so crazy that that's the only one I want to believe it, because it goes through some numbers, recurring numbers in the series, and all of things with symbols and things coming back. It's so crazy that it sounds absolutely right. So if there's one way I want to see Kaido come back, is for this crazy theory to be true. But the only other thing I want to say is that Ben is a genius, because he's always right for predictions, and that's about the actual ending of the chapter, which we'll discuss later. But I just wanted to say that when I read it, it was like, oh, damn, Ben got this one too.
Yeah, he does that on our JJK talks too. We think he's Gege's assistant. It's kind of an ongoing joke.
Oda required an assistant this week. I had to swap. What I mean is, of course, none of that's true, right?
Right.
Hey, I'm not an assistant for Shonen Jump. No,
these rumors are unfounded and false.
Yeah. But I mean, if you throw enough at the wall, something will stick.
Right.
So,
I
was very
just real quick to like kind of cap on Francesco's thing. I mean, it just feels even more solidified with the panel of "I'm not Kaido. The interruption was the final drum beat signaling the end of Kaido." Like, there's literally words saying, "No, that was the end. That big explosion. That was it." Like, it would just be too wild for Kaido to come back. But
yeah. I don't think Kaido's coming back. The only way Kaido comes back is if he is basically on the brink of unconsciousness and just lying on the ground, and he says something to someone, like the Marines capture him or something. And it's kind of like how they had Doflamingo tied up, and Doflamingo was saying things after he was defeated in Dressrosa. That was a bit of time after Dressrosa happened, but I could see Kaido returning like that. And this is a good way to get sort of Kaido and Big Mom back out into the open where they can be captured. instead of just like buried down deep in a hole. So the volcano sort of serves many purposes in the story, I think. And I 100% agree. I don't think Kaido and Big Mom are coming back into the fight after that. Like,
Well, and kind of
um,
go off of what Francesco was saying too, like Oda built them to be so strong, and I felt like Dragon Ball Super had a similar problem with Jiren, where it was just like when they finally do get beat, you're like, you really talked this character up to be so strong that I don't feel like this should be it. Um, and that's kind of the thing with Big Mom and Kaido too. I mean,
Yeah.
even if this is the end of the fight, if they were somehow, propelled, or if the explosion somehow shot them up into the air and they land somewhere, they're still like so powerful that even if they did get captured and covered in sea prism stone, they've been shown that they're still like ridiculously powerful even with
Yeah.
that. So I almost feel
Well,
like they need to stay down there.
well, one of the interesting things that, and I think Oda did this intentionally, is that seawater did leak into the lava. That's what caused the eruption.
Yeah.
And seawater weakens devil fruit users.
hmm
Yeah.
So I think that's another indication that these guys are not coming back. Like
And one day we
seawater,
will learn why. Someday,
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
So eventually, halfway
Eventually.
through the next arc, we'll cut back to them and see what they're doing, and they'll drop some major piece of knowledge that'll blow everyone's minds. But
Maybe they'll
that
show up
day,
in the sequel series like thousands of years from now. Archaeologists will uncover the solidified remains of two giant people underground.
Yeah.
yeah. But that's for Bun Piece.
Fun piece.
No, Bun Piece, like Boruto. You just got to add the B, and then it's a sequel series. Uh, but
Buffy. Well, actually, Buffy. It's
yeah, it's Buffy the Pirate Slayer.
yeah.
Yeah, Luffy's kid is a pirate hunter, like
Oh,
Zoro.
Yeah.
another crazy theory that's obviously not true, but would be amazing, is that if Zoro is actually an actual pirate hunter, and for all this time he just wanted Luffy's bounty to get to the
Higher.
highest in the world, so in the end they can take him
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
He'd
I
keep undercover.
I read that theory too. Zoro's going to be the final villain at the end.
But which would just be spitting in the face of like all the fans. Like,
Yeah, everything.
yeah. But the series about friendship and all that stuff. No,
No.
you can't trust your closest friends. They're just gonna betray you.
What is this, Dragon Ball Super?
But
The Dragon Ball Super likes to kind of spit in the face of
oh
what they've
no.
established before. Is kind of what I was saying.
Oh,
But tune into the Mega Manga Monday discussion about Dragon Ball Super for more details on that. um, but I kind of going back to the declaration that the volcanic eruption was the end, the final bit there. I was getting really, really, really excited that we were going to get our unveil of adult Momo, human form Momo. And we didn't get it, but it definitely got set up to happen, and it's going to happen in front of the people of Wano, just like I wanted it to.
Who were still absolutely oblivious of what's going on up their heads, like until Momo showed up.
Yeah, which
They
is
did
weird.
not notice Onigashima and thunderclouds and giant people fighting in the sky. Nope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it must be really cloudy there, I guess. But yeah, I mean,
All the years of observation made them very short-sighted. Yeah.
yeah, that must be it. Because I mean, every panel that we got of the citizens, like they're still reacting like everything that just happened didn't happen. They're reacting as if they are totally oblivious to everything that's been going on, which is kind of a disappointment. Like I really wanted them to fully get the scope of Kaido being taken down and stuff like that. Because I mean, people thought that Momo was Kaido. Like that's how ignorant they are to everything that just happened.
well, I think that's why Oda includes the sort of stomp tromp sound effects in every like panel, or not every panel, but a lot of panels showing the festival, he includes that sound effect, and I think that's just to show like these people are like making their own beat and stuff, and it's a
Yeah,
very loud festival.
yeah.
So he's basically saying this is why they didn't hear like the drums of liberation or any of the fighting going on because they were just too busy doing this. And light pollution is a thing. If there's a bunch of bright things in the sky that can block out some other things
Oh
in
yeah,
the
and then
sky.
one is also super polluted,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like with factories and everything.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
we also know that Zunesha was absolutely useless in this
Yep.
thing. He just showed up and did not do anything. Just
Yeah.
The
commented.
water.
Yeah, but they picked up the water like months ago.
Oh
when
yeah,
they
Raizo
were...
was holding it in his pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
I'm really curious what Janesha would have done if Momo did open the borders here. Because, like, it seems like he was prepared for something. But now he's like, okay, I'll respect your decision. I trust your judgment. And he's probably, like, gonna leave now. Because he's like, well, I got nothing to do here anymore.
I mean,
See
you
y'all
guys,
when you open the country.
you bring up a great
You know what?
point. I almost think that is going to. I think Zunesha is going to play a major part in whatever is about to happen. Because I think, if I remember correctly, we had a lot of Navy coming up to Wano.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be very similar to Dressrosa, rather than Skypiea, where there's something waiting in the ways right now. I'm thinking that they're going to have to either take off really quickly, which is going to be a bummer because I really want to see the celebration.
They're gonna have the party. Come on.
Yeah, they need to have the
Yeah.
party.
I think we're at the point where, like, over the series where the crew is growing and growing and growing, and Luffy's made major strides to sort of establish him as Yonko level.
Yeah,
And
that
I
just
think,
happened, right?
yeah,
That just happened. I think now
Yeah.
you must have the highest bounty.
yeah,
Right.
no. But, like, one of the things with being Yonko level is that, whereas in the past they've run from, like, the Navy and people trying to chase them and things like that, I don't think they have to run anymore.
Right.
Now it's maybe running from that.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I
Who
think,
has the highest bounty at the moment?
I
No.
feel like Blackbeard, maybe. Like, if we're
Maybe?
not talking about bounties for people who are dead, like,
Yeah,
Right.
living.
Yeah, I would guess
like-
Black. Well, I mean, not including Kaido and Big Mom.
Well, including them.
Okay, because I know that they, because it's been a while since we had that chapter, but it was during the time when Sengoku was like informing all the Marines of the Rocks pirates and stuff like that. We finally got like bounty posters, and I remember Kaido and Big Mom. At least Kaido was a little bit more than Big Mom, and he was
Let me
at
check.
least like 3 times more than what Luffy was. So I think he was somewhere around 9 billion berries, maybe.
yeah, apparently it's like, so Kaido's the top right now with like 4,600,000,000, berries. Then comes Big Mom with 4,300,000,000. Then comes Shanks with just over 4 billion. And then comes Blackbeard with 2 billion and Luffy with 1.5 billion. So,
Which means that now Luffy must have the highest bounty
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the world. Because he just beat Kaido, so technically he should.
yeah, he should have the highest bounty, especially given
Well,
like
Or
world government-
technically, they should lower his bounty because he got rid of a very dangerous.
yeah. You pay off the Big Mom and Kaido like in terms
Yeah.
of his bounty. He has positive, like, when the world government captures him, they have to pay him money.
Yeah,
Instead
that
of,
would be an amazing twist. Now everybody's waiting for the new posters. They get delivered, and they all have their bounties like halved. Everybody say, "Oh, guys, thank you very much for."
yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious because it's one of those things where I mean the bounty's so high, it's like how would they even be able to afford this? And they're still like,
Mm.
okay, well your bounty is too high, so or you just you there's no way we can give you 4.6 billion berries for defeating Kaido, so we'll just let you off the hook.
Well, they do
Yeah,
they
it
do own they do own the world, so I guess they also own the places where they print money. I guess they can do
Yes.
yeah.
whatever they want.
Yeah, they can
Just
just print
cause like
more.
they're like hyperinflation is
Yeah.
the less big risk when compared to Kaido,
Mhm.
you know? Or,
Well,
or
I feel like the world government's response to Kaido and Big Mom being taken out is going to directly influence this next big arc because I'm curious
Yeah.
if they're going to do a similar thing that they did with Alabasta, where they want to cover it up and
Mm.
make it seem like the government possibly did it and not give Luffy any credit, and that could directly influence whatever the world government's next big plan is because before this the one of the big shocking revelations of the Reverie was that they're disbanding the warlords and they're going to start
Yeah.
hunting down the warlords.
Mm.
We've had a lot of time passed since then, and also I'm curious, of course, what Blackbeard has been up to because with Luffy's bounty going up, the way Oda's been writing Blackbeard, he seems to rise in prominence at about the same pace or even a little bit faster than Luffy. So I'm wondering what awful thing he has been up to possibly raise his bounty up. But
There could still be a revelation that what's going on in the cover story is actually Blackbeard. Because this
yes,
week we saw that the mysterious figures were actually Sanji's brother and sister, right? But maybe that's another Oda trademark trolling technique,
yes,
and next
a
week
red
Yeah.
we'll
herring.
Although I
yeah
do feel like it's funny, like every week we're like, okay, next week they're gonna reveal that it's actually Blackbeard. Next week, you know, trust it, just trust us, you know. And Oda might just be like, yeah, I just like writing this story about these people in Whole Cake Island, and I like covering Sanji's family more. There's no ulterior
Right.
motive.
Well, they've got it. They've got to show up again, like Rendezvous with the Straw Hats, or I mean, that's another set of characters that Oda set up to be, so formidable. Yeah, I have tough time with that word. So tough that they it would be a shame not to have them come back. But yeah, it almost feels it's too convenient. It's one of those things where we want to assume it's the most cool, complicated thing and not the most obvious answer. Um,
yeah
and I'm really hoping that this isn't the most obvious answer. That, of course, it's just Sherma coming in to save Sherma, which is, I mean, we still need more information because they're all supposed to be completely emotionless except for Renji, or Renju? Is that Sanji's
I
sister's
think
name?
it's Reiju.
yeah
Reiju. Okay, thank you.
Rage.
Yeah, because it's like based off of Japanese numbers, and Ray is
Yeah.
Japanese for zero. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, we don't know if they're there because they're emotionally, they do emotionally care about each other, or if Judge just sent them to, go rescue the other siblings. We don't know. We have a lot. We still have a lot more questions on the emotionless excursion. But yeah, Oda just keeps on progressing the story without like answering any major like lore questions about it, other than obviously that the Germa 66 is there. But we want more. We want we want more substantial stuff for Whole Cake. But another major bit about this chapter too, unless you guys have anything else on the cover chapter or the cover page.
No, yeah. There's too much to talk about, so let's get to the next.
Well, yeah, one of you brought it up. Momo not opening the borders yet.
Yeah,
That's kind of big.
yeah. I'm honestly not sure if he means like I'm not opening the borders right at this moment, but I'll open them like after we get everything settled,
After the party.
or if
Yeah,
he means.
I think that's what he said. I think he
Oh,
said not yet, but
Oh, I would
I will.
I would love it if it's like we're not going to open the borders yet, and then it's just like a close up panel of his eyes. And he's like, "Till we party," and then big sunglasses like go down on his face because he's so cool. But
Yeah.
I think it's interesting the significance that Oda is giving to this whole opening the borders thing, and because it just made me think that the whole Wano arc is actually a big reference to the end of Japan's, I think it was
oh
Edo
yeah,
period,
oh,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
ended when Commodore Perry came and bombed the Japanese ports and forced them to open the borders and accept the international trade and the Americans coming. And it was mid 19th century, right? So that's very interesting because obviously Wano is Edo time Japan, right?
Yeah.
So this whole opening the borders shtick is definitely a reference to the moment when Japan moved past its, feudal and samurai stuff and all of that, and became a quote unquote modern nation. And I think that what Kaido did there is also sort of it tells
Yeah.
you the dark side of modernization with the factories, the weapons, and people starving and all of that. Right?
Yeah, I was
So
gonna
it's the
bring that
dark
up
side
that
of progress.
it's a
brilliant.
super interesting like parallel to real world history because like the country's already sort of been kind of modernized in a way,
Yeah,
like with the weapon factories and things like that.
but
So
by foreigners. It's a
yeah,
foreigner guy, just like
yeah,
just
and
like the Americans do.
and it's actually funny because like it makes sense story wise because now the decision to open the borders is a lot less morally gray than like it was in real life because in real life it, it brought modernization, it brought like a change to this sort of
Yeah,
traditional lifestyle and stuff, and that can be seen as like negative or positive depending on how you view it. And but here it's like the story really wants Wano to open its borders. Like Wano's going to open its borders at some point in the story. That much is clear based on how much is being built up to. And this makes it so that like Oda doesn't have to dive into like the
yeah,
ambiguity, like the ambiguous nature of like whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. You can just be like,
yeah,
"Oh, it's a good thing."
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
but
agree absolutely.
yeah, there's a lot of theories though that even though they don't want to open the borders yet for more information that I'm sure is going to come, they might not have a choice. Another important bit about the dialogue of us getting to see the details of Kaido's hole versus Big Mom's hole. I don't ever want to say that sentence again. The the well, it looks like Wano could very easily break off because of these holes that were created. There's not a lot holding a chunk of that part of Wano up. So, especially with the big explosion that just happened now, the
Interesting.
waterfalls and all of that could sink into the ocean, and that would open up the borders of Wano without having to technically open up the borders of Wano. So that's one interesting theory I think has some credence, and it would kind of give it would further push Momo to be like, we know you're not ready, but you got to step up. I mean, Wano is open now. Even if you don't want it to be, it could kind of further go into his whole character arc of, I need to do this, but I don't wanna. And he's consistently like, okay, well, I guess I have to do this anyway. And I feel like that would just kind of further push along that idea.
Yeah, and that actually makes me think like I wonder if opening the borders itself, if that's an action that like actually physically changes the nature of the island. Like if it's within the power of the shogun to like descend the island closer to the sea level to allow ships to like dock on it or stuff.
Yeah.
Which, as you said, might just forcibly happen here. but I wonder if the Shoguns also had the ability to do that on their own.
Well, I mean, they would have needed, incredible power, right?
Yeah, which means that Wano might have incredible power. Like it might have more secrets
Oh,
hidden within
possibly.
it.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of that definitely seems to be the case. I mean, because anytime we had previous discussions about people in the past or the world government talking about Wano, they just kept on seemed to be putting a lot of importance on the island, for one reason or another, and we've been kind of led to think it might have been because it's a prime place to create weapon factories and stuff, as Kaido did. But I'd like to think that there's another secret about Wano that we have yet to have revealed. And I don't know what that could be, honestly, because I feel like we do. I mean, we have all. Did Wano have like a poneglyph that we haven't seen
Yeah,
yet?
I don't think we've seen Wano's poneglyph yet, but it does have one. I'm
Okay,
pretty sure.
that could be it then.
That's one that Kaido had, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I would
Well,
think by now he would have
and
had it.
the road poneglyphs themselves, they were originally created by Wano's artisans. So yeah,
Oh, that's right.
the yeah.
Um, well, yeah. So I think that's and I'd have to go back, but I mean, is that the last one we need?
Think
No,
there's
no, there is one it's missing. Like nobody knows where it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
Right, Ben?
probably.
Yeah, that's correct. Because we've seen more poneglyphs like in the past, but not we haven't seen that many road poneglyphs. We've only seen two so far. The one that Big Mom had and the one on Zoe.
And those are the red ones, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we learned about road poneglyphs on Zoe. And then right after that we went to see Big
Yeah,
Mom's
one was on Zoo, and
Yeah.
then there is one missing, which is the one that was at Fishman Island.
Yes,
Nobody
yeah.
knows where it is. Yeah,
Okay,
right
right.
next to Joy Boy's apologies letter, which was the first time that we heard about this Joy Boy, and then never heard about him more for like 10 years.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Oda, and you're planning ahead. But yeah, if I remember correctly, when the road poneglyphs were established, it kind of turned into, and I could be correct, I could be incorrect here. I hope you guys remember it better than I do. But is it one of those things where they find these road poneglyphs and then they mark it on the map, and then once they find all three, they can use those three
Four. It's
locations. Four. Oh, okay. But they use those locations to like triangulate where Laugh Tale is.
it's unclear. Like we don't know what function they actually have. We only know that if you read all four of them, you will get the instructions to reach Laughtale, but they didn't say how.
Okay.
It could just be something else. But yeah, like directions or coordinates could be a good way.
All right.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Have we? I forget what like Robin actually read on the poneglyphs.
She
Like,
didn't say. She
Yeah.
didn't say.
I think it's all
Okay.
been incredibly vague on any poneglyphs we've read. I think
Yeah.
they've just done the great job of like, oh my god, I can't believe it
Oh,
says this, and then we
yeah.
don't get any
Oh, my
clarification.
No.
Um,
Well, hopefully we get some at the end of this arc. Like
Oh, I'm hoping so. I'm really thinking. I mean, as long as Wano's been going on, I mean, it's almost like Oda's. This has been a reward to read, especially with this happening and everything. But I feel like Oda's going to further almost reward readers for the length of this plot of this
Yeah.
arc with some big revelation, hopefully. But yeah, I guess. Not to sidetrack, but another huge thing about this chapter that just kind of broke my heart, and it was one of my favorite bits about the chapter, wasn't even the big win, the reveal, the Kaido seemingly melting into the lava, but it was the flashback in the beginning of it being revealed that Yasu did in fact eat a fruit because his daughter ate one, and he just instantly says, "All right, well, did you save some for me? Well, we'll do this together then." And it gets me teary eyed, guys. That was so. It was heartbreaking, but I love that they. It was one of those flashbacks I really didn't mind, even though this is, a huge part of the story. We've been waiting for Wano to come to a conclusion, but that nice little flashback of, but it was really Yasu who, his sacrifice and making the decision that he did at, near the beginning of this arc, we wouldn't have been able to do all this. It's outstanding. It was an outstanding callback, and that little bit of information, that little bit of new information, and getting those couple panels of "Don't tell me you ate that fruit." Like we just got to see the full transition from, because he used to be a shogun, right? He was like the shogun.
A daimyo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So one of the local governors.
Yeah, I just remember, especially in the anime, they did a great job of further building him and Odin's relationship, and that getting to see that transition from one of the most respected people of Wano, who's been hiding out and trying to keep things together, to the laughing silly dude that we were first introduced to. It was really nice to see that, I felt, and heartbreaking, but I'm glad it was there.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason why this chapter is sort of named for this sort of callback to Yasui, because this is it's all due to him. This is his sacrifice had meaning. They were able to defeat Kaido because of him. And it's just incredibly powerful, and it shows that his honor was rewarded. And it's just incredibly great. And that daddy, I want to see you crossed out, and it's just like, "Daddy, thank you." Like, that just breaks my heart, like, in the best way. It's just so good.
I got liquid coming out of my eyes, guys. But yeah, there is no greater honor. I hope we get a statue. I hope Yasu gets a statue. And then after that we cut back to Onigashima and Cat Viper's the one that lets everyone know, hey, we just took down 2 emperors of the sea. That just felt so cathartic. And of course we still have some of the beast pirates wanting to throw a fight, and then Yamato just telling him to shut down, and them listening to her. I think it's further. I almost think it's not even a question anymore. Yamato seems primed to be the next Straw Hat. I really don't think it's going to be Momo. Carrot might still hang around, but this arc has definitely proven that Carrot was just a side character. Unfortunately, I really liked Carrot during some moments, but she got no focus during this arc, so it really didn't help me believe that she was going to be a lasting member.
Well, I actually kind of disagree.
Okay.
I feel like Yamato's almost being set up to take control of the Beast Pirates after this arc concludes, and like maybe allying the Beast Pirates with the Straw Hats.
Yeah, but I could see that.
I want Yamato to be the new crew member. I think that it would be really cool, and I feel like Momo should stay in Wano and be the Shogun. But I feel like this, honestly, neither may become crew members.
Yeah.
They may just assume leadership roles here.
Well, you just helped me realize, too, now that Big Mom is done, this is actually a meme that had been going around, but somebody had essentially said, if Big Mom's out and Prospero is out, then Katakuri would more than likely become the leader of the Cake Pirates. What's Big Mom's
Yeah.
pirate crew. Yeah, the cake pirates. Um,
No,
so
oh no, the big mom pirates, I
just the
think.
big
Yeah.
mom pirates. Okay. Well, so yeah, if Ben, your suggestion seems very likely as well. So, the remnants of the Beast Pirates and the remnants of the Big Mom Pirates are going to become part of the Straw Hat Fleet.
Or maybe not part of the Straw Hat Fleet, but I think like they may be allies to the Straw Hat Fleet.
Well, yeah, I kind of felt like at the end of Dressrosa, like it was the establishment of so many pirate crews saying like, "Hey, we'll help you out, Luffy, whenever you need it." So yeah,
Yeah, but
I would probably just assume that they would be part of that too. But I mean, Yamato and Katakuri, neither of them want to be king of the pirates, or some. They don't really have their own goals aside, or they don't have a major mission or goal, say, as like be king of the pirates. So I see them siding up and being and helping Luffy in his plan.
they may not want to be king of the pirates, but I don't think they want to be subordinate to the Straw Hat Pirates, especially given how big and like powerful both crews are. Like I just see them being allies, kind of like how, you know, Old Roger and Whitebeard were aligned in a lot of things. They may have fought, but like they're like equals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they join up to do certain things, but they're equals or rivals. They're not in the same fleet. So
Oh,
I
possible.
kind of view it like that.
Okay. Yeah, I disagree. I think that they could uh, eventually all team up because I mean, like with
Well,
Whitebeard
yeah,
and
teaming, but like a team up isn't like necessarily joining the fleet though, right?
oh, okay, I got you. Because
Like
I mean,
I think they'll definitely team up against the world government, but like I don't think they're gonna officially join the fleet.
yeah, I could see that. Yeah, just thinking back to like when we had that flashback with Odin and Whitebeard and Roger, they fought for like a whole week, like murdering each other, and then after that they like just sat down and had sake and were all friends and stuff. And it just seems the more I think about it, the more unlikely that seems. It's like, all right, if you're not strong enough, you die. Oh well, you just killed my best friend. Oh well, you're strong. Let's just all have drinks and be friends. And it's like that just seems unlikely. I mean, we're making these pirates very friendly.
Yeah, but that's kind of the spirit of the sea, right?
Yeah, I guess
And
so.
and it could tie into if the One Piece actually is just sake. It could tie into that. Although I don't like that theory,
Yeah.
personally,
But that it's just a bottle of sake, and it says it's not good until it's been aged this many years.
or something like that. Yeah,
and
and
that's
then
and that's why they said, "Oh boy, okay, we're too early."
yeah,
Oh man.
which yeah, it could be, you know, and if it is, I'm sure Oda would do it well. But I'm just hoping it's something else.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think that the end of one of the world's most popular children's comic would uh they're all like getting to a bottle of alcohol. But I'm just looking back at this chapter and to go back to Francesco's theory that we said is quite unlikely now that Zoro is going to kill Kaido. What would have to happen for that to happen now? We've established that Zolo is out cold and is getting treated, thankfully, by Chopper and the Goat Man. If the explosion somehow shot Kaido into the air and he landed perfectly on Zoro's swords, then it's still likely, guys.
I could see it.
Yeah,
Zoro.
Zoro
Yeah.
kills Kaido. It still could happen. But yeah, we got all of our people who definitely needed medical attention in the right spots. I don't think Kimimon is going to be well enough to get to the celebration, but I'm incredibly excited. Next chapter seems to be further hyping up. As I was getting into the final chapter or final pages of this chapter, I was getting really excited about the Momo reveal. But I think it's primed and ready for next chapter, guys. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. 1051. Hopefully, we get some celebration of Wano,
Yeah.
the show of, um, uh, well, Momo's going to look a lot like Odin. Um,
Yeah.
I'm hoping we get a little bit of celebration, and I'm also really, really, really hoping that we cut back to CP0 guy, and we get some more world government stuff
Yeah.
because I'm incredibly. I mean, we've been excited to see what's been going on in the world outside of Wano for quite some time, but now we have the world's reaction to everything that just happened in Wano to illustrate and contend with too. So, but yeah, what are you guys hoping we happens directly in 1051?
Mm. It's hard to answer.
Yeah.
I guess a much needed respite from the
Mhm.
fight. Like, yeah, take the time to answer some lore questions and just have the character relax for a bit before the beginning of next art, which is going to be a mental, according to what Oda said.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm also hoping for a bit of rest and relaxation. Although, something that I've been thinking about is that uh, a kabuki play generally has 5 acts, and this is Act 3. And I could definitely see Act 4 being the Navy trying to come in and do something, and then them fighting them off. Uh,
Mm.
so I'm curious if like Kaido, I think is definitely defeated, but I'm curious whether Wano is actually over, or even wrapping up, or if we're just going to go to the next stage of the arc, which will probably be a lot shorter than Act 3, but um, could be just as exciting.
Yeah, I'm more in the camp of I'm really hoping that we get some relaxing time because everyone that is still standing has been through hell, and I would be even more. I honestly, I'd be a little disappointed if we had another fight start up, and then some of these characters had to fight again without any rest. Then I would just I feel like it'd be really unrealistic because I feel
Yeah,
like
I feel like if that sort of thing does happen for Act 4, there will be a chance for rest since like CP0 still has to report to their superiors. Like the Navy doesn't quite know what's going on just yet. I feel like there will be a bit of time to rest before that happens. And also each of the previous act transitions has sort of had a bit of rest time, you know. Hadn't just immediately gone into the action of the next arc, so or the next act. So,
mhm.
uh,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, another thing that kind of just kicked loose in my head too. Another reason that maybe Momo wants to wait to reopen Wano is because Wano's kind of a trash can right now. I mean,
yeah,
they've the last 20 years have destroyed Wano to the point where they essentially only have you know, one area that is habitable is the Flower Kingdom. Um, so I could almost see Momo wanting to wait to re-beautify parts of Wano before reopening it to the world. But I almost feel like it's more likely that a big chunk of Wano is about to sink into the ocean because those the impact of the two emperors being shot into the island's core um, could have done that. But I almost feel like it is also likely, as I said earlier, that the giant explosion may have propelled the two fallen emperors into the sky and for them to land somewhere else. But then that brings up that question of what do you do? What does Oda do with these two ridiculously powerful titans that can't really be captured or put into captivity? Like,
yeah.
so
Maybe Big Mom's amnesia was foreshadowing for Big Mom and Kaido's amnesia
yeah,
after, after
that
they
is
wake up from the
that's
volcano.
actually one interaction that I still really, really want to see, and I'd be disappointed if we don't get as a final conversation between Big Mom and Kaido. But
Mm.
these last couple panels of Kaido in the lava is not giving me hope that we'll be getting
Mm.
that. Um, Especially because I mean, we had several chapters between their fall, but that little diagram that Oda gave us made it seem like They could be close enough together to have some sort of interaction. So I don't know. As much as I'd love it, I don't think we're gonna get it.
Yeah, but who knows?
Yeah.
One Piece is one of the most unpredictable manga out there, so
Yes. Yeah, Big
never
Mom
tell.
and Kaido fuse. They do the fusion dance, and then we have that to deal with.
They become rocks. Uh,
They, oh my god, they are becoming rocks because the lava and the water are combining, and
uh,
um,
they're literally the Rocks pirate crew, yeah.
oh jeez, that's brilliant. Oda, ah man, send him a lovely flower basket, or fruit basket. Um, well, yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I had on One Piece chapter 1050. Was there anything else you guys wanted to say?
That's it for me.
Yeah, it was a pretty monumentous chapter. How about you, Francesco?
Well, mostly, I mostly agree with everything you said, guys. Yeah, this was such a satisfying
Yeah.
read that I don't have much to add this time. Really, it's just feels like the perfect conclusion to what was it, like 4 years of storytelling or
It was
more? Yeah.
something crazy.
Oh
It
boy.
was, yeah. We can go back to like the beginning of Wano, like
I'm
two in the
Google.
first chapter.
I'm gonna Google
Yeah, it
it.
was 4 years. It was 2018.
Wow. It'll be crazy to see a new island after this and be like,
Yeah.
whoa, we're not on Wano anymore.
Yeah, yeah. It just feels like Oda was like saving so much to make Wano feel as expressive and as huge and as climactic as it was. So it's incredibly. I'm incredibly curious to see what he plans to do next because it's just everything was so big in Wano. Like everything just felt so beautiful and
Yeah.
like
So meaningful.
meaningful. Yes. But yeah, it says first chapter of Wano was 909 and it was published January of 2018. So
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah, we're almost at the 4 year mark is how long this of One Piece is what
No,
20
we're
25 years.
no, we're past it. We're past it, right?
July 2018.
Oh, sorry, I heard January. Sorry.
Yeah, almost.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard January as well.
oh, sorry. I might have said
Oh.
that.
Well,
I'll check the recording.
It's crazy because like we have been saying just like this could be its own manga if like
Yeah.
if it had not been Oda could have made this his own manga if it wasn't connected to like One Piece. And 4 to 5 years is a good run for a typical manga. Like
Yeah.
uh
Oh yeah, it's like 200 chapters or so.
yeah. And I mean we're almost there. Well, 59 chapters away from 200. So we probably won't reach 200 chapters, but still, like, the amount we have is a fairly sizable manga.
Like
So,
yeah, Wano itself is longer than My Hero Academia's spin-off comic, Vigilantes.
yeah, which is it's crazy to think about.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've fit an insane amount of lore, a lot of story progression, and world building. I mean, just with Wano alone, Wano seems to be branched into so many other parts that we've been to. Say, like with Zoro's, the
Yeah.
place Zoro came from, like the swordsmith there was tied to Wano. Um,
Yeah.
We've got the Yamato thing, and Ace was tied to Wano. Like it felt like so many things were leading up to Wano that I have no idea where to go to from here. I'm really thinking.
I have a hint. I have a hint that next chapter, sorry,
Yeah.
is gonna be even crazier.
What?
Like
Did you read the
next chapter
spoilers
is gonna
already?
have all these. No, I didn't. I just think that it's gonna have all these revelations, and stuff. Nothing will actually. There will be no action, I think, but in terms of the revelations and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so. That's kind of what I was saying earlier. Was I'm hoping Oda has like some almost a reward planned. um, because yeah, I think other than the poneglyphs, it definitely seems ready, or Wano definitely seems like it was holding some sort of secret. Um, and now that we have the good guys have Odin's journal, and I think that might be the source of it too. I think that we might get
Yeah,
some sort of
yeah.
major reveal from Odin's journal. Um, oh boy, I'm just so excited to see grown up Momo. He's gonna look just like Odin. I wonder if he's gonna be like a bald Odin because Momo had like his weird shaved head thing. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I absolutely think I was surprised to see some people on Twitter doubting, thinking that oh maybe Komurasaki is going to be the Shogun. And I'm like they literally just did like a smoke screen of Momo transforming. Like it's definitely hyping up Momo
Well, I
arriving.
I could see Komurasaki becoming Shogun if Momo goes with the Straw Hats, like Komurasaki taking over while he's gone. Um, I just feel like Momo's gonna become Shogun and stay in Wano.
Hmm.
Unless
Yeah,
he's waiting to open the country until after he goes out to sea with the Straw Hats. But
yeah. It was one theory I had thought of in a past discussion too. Is Yamato becomes Shogun and ends up doing
mm,
exactly what Kaido wanted her to do all along, but her it being her own choice rather than Kaido's choice,
which
which
just feels wrong to me. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
oh yeah, it definitely would be unexpected, and I would much rather see Yamato set sail with them, but yeah, I don't know. Oda loves to surprise us, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that'll wrap up our episode of Mega Manga Monday for One Piece Chapter 1050. I think we can go ahead and move into some recommendations and plugs if you guys are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Bang on.
sorry, what was that, man? You kind of cut out.
No, sorry, I said Ben, go on.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Well, didn't Jason, do you have anything to do before I go or?
yeah, sure. Yeah, please check out Mega Manga Monday. We've got it on Spotify, YouTube, all kinds of stuff. But we talk about series like One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, Dragon Ball Super, all kinds of stuff. So if you're caught up on any of those other series, please check that out for more of this kind of stuff. We also have a Twitter, which we like to post our updates and some funny takeaways here and there. Follow us at M Manga Mondays. And also, I do a YouTube series called Honzy and Friends, where I play video games with friends and we make each other laugh. Check it out if you like to smile and video games. But yeah, Ben, how about you, man?
Yeah, so for recommendations, it's not a manga this time, but it is the new Obi-Wan Kenobi show
Ooh,
on Disney
I
Plus.
watched the first
Uh,
episode last night. I liked it a lot.
yeah, I watched the first two last night, and it's very fun. I like it a lot. I like the child actor that is in the series. I don't want to say who they play because that might be a spoiler. Um, but I really think that they do a good job, which is a rare thing to say for child actors. So, and of course, Ewan McGregor back in the role is very fun to see, and it's
Yes.
just a fun show. No new memes yet, so no hello there's or I have the high ground, but fingers crossed. We'll see. Um,
Oh, I was honestly getting
and-
teary eyed with the recap. Like they did an excellent recap
yeah.
of the first, the prequel trilogy, and they actually made it really good. And highlighted some of the best moments. I've actually rewatched the Star Wars prequel trilogy recently, and it wasn't nearly as bad as I remember it being. Especially Episode 3. Episode 3 is a pretty solid movie.
People are gonna say the same thing about the sequel
That's the
series.
most awful movie ever made. Really,
Uh,
it's the mother of all plot holes and all like messy storytelling.
oh,
Like the last 20 minutes of that movie, basically, it's everything you wanted to see happen in the whole trilogy, crammed in 20 minutes.
well, if you want to
Anyways,
see the best version of it, there's there's a version on YouTube which is called like I forget the beginning of it, but it's like Star Wars Episode 3 Backstroke of the West. And basically what they did was they used Google Trans they either used Google Translate to translate it into Mandarin, or they just took the actual Mandarin translation
Oh,
and then they
yeah.
used Google Translate to translate it back into English. And then they just like dubbed over it with what they got. And it is incredibly funny.
I've heard
Just
that.
it's like a whole different movie. Um, so I greatly enjoyed that. It's the best way to watch episode 3 in my opinion. Um,
All right,
but
we got some
yeah.
hot Star Wars takes at this the end of this One Piece podcast.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we'll have to
And
talk
some
some
hot
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars Rex, if you're interested
No,
in that.
yeah, but just going back to manga. I want
Yeah.
if you're done, man.
Oh, I've just got one plug
I,
before. I also have a YouTube channel called YGO from Zero, which is basically going over the historical formats of the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, be sure to check it out. But yeah, Francesco, what do you have with manga?
I just yeah, well, I just wanted to remind everyone the obvious that Hunter x Hunter is coming back.
Oh
That
I'm still
yeah.
in
one
shock.
knows in the world. And I just wanted to say that we are doing some coverage on Screen Rant. We are putting out some articles telling you why you should read these amazing manga and some lore deep dives and stuff like that. So over the coming weeks, we will increase our coverage of Hunter x Hunter before the new chapters come out. So make sure to follow us. And then also, I got into Chainsaw Man recently
Oh, you haven't said that.
yesterday. Yesterday, I think.
You got another
So
one.
pretty nice, pretty nice.
Oh boy. Well, that was actually one of the last mangas to like. I binged it. I haven't binged a lot of
Yeah.
mangas, but after I got maybe a dozen or two chapters in, I couldn't put it down. So once
Yeah.
you get caught up,
Today I lost 1 hour. Today I didn't know where it went. I was just oh yeah, I read one chapter while I take a small break from work, and then oh, what happened here? Okay.
uh-oh. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, yeah, once
it's
you get caught up,
dangerous.
especially part two is supposed to be coming up soon. Of course, I won't spoil anything for you, but yeah, once you get caught up, let us know because I would love to schedule a Chainsaw Man discussion. That'd be fun. I know
All right.
plenty of our guys are really into that, so that would be a lot of fun. But to go back to your Hunter x Hunter, yeah, I think a lot of people, especially fans of the series, aren't aware that the anime hasn't animated everything that's available. There's actually quite a few chapters of the manga that have not been animated yet,
But
including.
but not a lot actually. I was under the opposite impression that the anime was very old and very far back from the manga. But actually, I recently found out that it goes all the way to the chairman selection arc, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool. Basically, it only leaves out the current arc, the super crazy travel to the dark continent, whatever's going on, we don't know thing. So the anime is actually a pretty good way to get into Hunter x Hunter and then obviously move to the manga.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the anime is also it's kind of a complete story. Sure, there are
Yeah.
some like loose ends that
Hmm.
you got to read the manga to really get tied up. But honestly, you could just watch the anime and be like, yeah, I'm satisfied,
Yeah.
and then just read the manga for like if you want to see more of the world and stuff.
Yes.
Um,
Well, I guess that's kind of what I was getting to was yeah, for fans of Hunter x Hunter who have only watched the anime, get caught up. There's quite a few chapters out that are available to read before the series makes its triumphant return.
And there's some pretty big moments that happen that I know a lot of fans of the anime are like, oh, I really wish this happened. Well, read the manga. And
Yeah, that was
it did.
actually. We'll talk about it more after this recording. But that's there. There's one huge fight that's been in the manga that hasn't been animated yet, and I love how they cover it because it's literally like in the middle of this arc that they're establishing, and then I think the the manga guy took a long break, and he's like, okay, I'm not sure how far I'm gonna get, so I'm gonna go ahead and just go do this fight real quick that all the fans really want to watch. And he dedicates almost like 5 to 10 chapters to one of the greatest fights in the whole series. So read Hunter x Hunter. In short, read Hunter x Hunter. But yeah, I think that'll wrap up this episode of Mega Manga Mondays. I am Jason Hahn, and it's been a lot of fun talking One Piece with you guys. As they said, check out ScreenRant.com for comics news, gaming news, and video game news and movie news. Yeah, I think that'll about do it. Thanks for your time today, guys, and I hope you have a good one.
Bye,
See y'all
everyone.
next time.
All right. I look forward to 10:51, and we'll see you then.